Hello everybody and welcome to another video on my channel where today I'm going to be doing a bit of a rant video because I'm going to be talking about all my bookish pet peeves, and I'm going to divide this into two kinds of things. One is things to do with the actual book, like the cover and the design of them and stuff like that, and the other is to do with things that happen within the story of a book that frustrate me. So prepare yourselves for me just to complain about a lot of things, because that's what this video is going to be. The first frustrating thing that just rubs me the wrong way is when there are people on the covers. I hate people on the covers. And there are times when I don't mind it because it's kind of like a person shadowed in the background or something, but I hate covers like this that just show you what your protagonist is meant to look like, because it takes so much of the fun out of the book. Like, I love reading and they're like, she has dark hair and this colored skin and this colored eyes, and you form your own image of the character. And I hate getting books with people on the covers who are so obviously meant to be your protagonist, because then it's like, what's the point of even describing them if you were going to put them on the cover? And now I can't imagine the main character as anything but this. And until recently, I wouldn't buy a book with people on the cover because it just frustrates me so much. But I got this in an owl crate and I didn't really have a choice about it, but yeah, it just feels like she's watching me. Number 2 on my list is just as bad because it's movie covers, and it's like, why do you have to put the people from the movie on the cover just to remind me that this is the book the movie was based on? It's like, I get it, you don't have to release a new edition just so people know it. I already knew it. I'm just gonna keep complaining about things wrong with book covers, because I also hate when there are stickers on the cover. And this book, these aren't even stickers that I could peel off. They are part of the cover, and it's like, why would you do that? This is a pretty book cover. Why would you cover it in stupid stickers? Just like, come on, publishers, come on. This next one I don't have a good example of because I just live in constant fear of it, but it's when a series is ongoing and it gets to the 3rd or 4th book and the publishers are like, you know what, it's time for a cover change, and then your set doesn't match. I won't buy an incomplete series most of the time because I am so terrified that it won't look nice on my bookshelf. And it's like, who in a publishing office thought that was a good idea? Who was like, you know what, we have these really beautiful covers, but what if we make the next one black? It's like, no, why? Why would you do that? That's a terrible idea, and you should know that people don't want a mismatched set on their bookshelf because it just looks stupid. And we take pride in our shelves. Next up on my list of pet peeves, and I just realized I stopped counting. I was actually counting and I've kind of given up, but I hate now that pretty much every book series has to be a trilogy. There are some books that would have been really great as a standalone or maybe a duology, like just the 2 books, and instead they get made into a trilogy or a longer series, and the plot just ends up feeling drawn out. And the best example I can think of this is Divergent, and this could be a bit of an unpopular opinion, but I think this series would have been so much better if Insurgent and Allegiant were kind of combined into one book, so you get all the action and emotion but without a lot of the repetition and most of the plot in Allegiant, which just pissed me off. But it had to be a trilogy, and then on top of that they extended the series with 4, the short stories book, and it's like, I think this series would have been way better if it was just the 2 books, because that was when the story was entertaining, and it just got repetitive and it frustrated me because it felt like it was being drawn out just so they could market it as a trilogy. And I'm not saying this all of a sudden I'm gonna stop buying books that are a part of a series, but I just find it frustrating that it's the new norm, that all books have to be a part of a series. I would love a good standalone book, but instead it gets made into a 4-book series. It's just like, come on, just give me a standalone book. But I don't know. Similar to this, and probably more frustrating, is when a complete series that was really well-rounded and well done gets extended or given a prequel or a side story or something. And this I found most frustrating with the Maze Runner series, where the prequel, The Kill Order, just, it had nothing to do with the characters that I loved in the Maze Runner series. It was just this background story that I didn't care about the characters, I didn't really care what happened. It just, honestly, it felt a bit like a money grab, and this is another thing that I hate gets done so frequently, because it's like, there's a point where you don't need to continue a series but everyone seems to anyway. It's just like, why? So another just like tiny thing that frustrates me is when people don't use bookmarks when they're reading. It's like, I have so many bookmarks and I hate seeing people who fold down the corner of a page because I'm like, how dare you damage a book? Like, why would you do that when you can literally use anything as a bookmark? It's like, and how do you know which folded page is yours? And how can you bring yourself to damage your book? It just doesn't make sense to me, and it's so frustrating when I see people do it. Alright, so I've narrowed it down to the 3 things that frustrate me the most within the plot of a book. And the main one I came away with is when characters make impulse decisions based on emotion. And the best example of this is the Chaos Walking series by Patrick Ness, where it was so often the adults in the book would be like, don't do that, it's a terrible decision, and the grown-ups are taking care of it, and the main character would be like, no, I know what I'm doing, and just stuff everything up. And I found it super frustrating because it was so selfish, and you're like, just stop acting impulsively like a child, please. Next up is love triangles or insta-love, which again happen a lot in YA books, but it's like, it's not realistic. There's so many times when a person's been in a relationship and then this mysterious guy comes along and they're like, oh my god, maybe I'm in love with him. And it's like, if you were really in love with the first person, this wouldn't be a decision you had to make. And insta-love, it's like when they meet and straight away they're like, you are my soulmate. And it's like, if you are that instantly attracted to someone, it is not love, it's physical. It is a physical attraction, and it just frustrates me because I know that sometimes it probably happens in real life, but not in like every story. Final thing is when characters are given like a unique quirk of some sorts, like they're written as a normal person and then the author's like, you know what? They need something weird. So I found this a lot in this book, Looking for Alaska by John Green, where both Alaska and Pudge have these kind of quirks that set them apart from the regular teenagers. It makes them cooler. It's like Pudge knows the last words to all these people. It's like, that's a cool thing, but there's no one who knows that on demand. And they also let these quirks define their whole character, and I just find those to be really unattractive character qualities, and it frustrates me so much because it's like, why can't characters just be regular people? So that is it for my bookish pet peeves, and I'm really excited to know what other people's pet peeves are, so be sure to let me know yours down in the comments. But I think that's it for this video, so be sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and tune in next time. Toodaloo!